anak-anak Taneng, and today I would like to present under the subject of Introduction to Educational Studies. Beforehand, let's take a look to our introduction video for today's topic. Muhammad Nazmi bin Rosli, who is known as the winner of Campaign Guru PAK21 in 2019. A dedicated English teacher who has served in SK Long Sukang for more than 2 years. The lack of education opportunities for the students in the rural area has made Nazmi to step up in his creativity in order for his students to enjoy a high-quality education. He took the initiative to bring the PAK21 approach into his classroom, which challenged his students intellectually and to make them think more critically. During the pandemic, he has contributed his time and energy to approach his students in the rural area, crossing rivers and forests just to deliver the exam papers to 111 students of SK Long Sukang was a priceless experience to be remembered. Sekolah Kebangsaan Long Sukang, or SK Long Sukang for short, is a national school located at Lawas District Education Office. In 2019, Sekolah Kebangsaan Long Sukang had 70 male students and 63 female students, making a total of 133 students. It has a total of 13 teachers. In 2023, SK Long Sukang had its project revived, undergoing material testing to determine the next step in order to go through development. Greetings everyone! At the launch event of the MEB's 2022 annual report held at Pustaka Raja Tun Uda in Shah Alam, Education Minister Fatina Sidek shared that there are 5 system aspirations incorporated within the MEB, which are centered on access, quality, equity, unity, and efficiency. Now, what are these 5 system aspirations and what are are the benefits towards our education system in Malaysia. Let's take a look over it one by one. Now, the first on the list that we have is access. Ensure that every Malaysian child has the right to equal educational opportunities to enable them to reach their potential. As we are looking back to our video for today, Mr. Nazmi, an English teacher who is teaching in the rural area of Lawas, which is SK Long Sukang. He makes sure every of his students are able to achieve a high-quality education by providing them the best education service. For example, he delivers exam papers to 111 students of SK Long Sukang during the pandemic. He also brings out the Gppp1092 learning method in his classroom for the students to enjoy a fun and meaningful learning experience. From this potential of Mr. Nazmi, we are able to see that his great potential could contribute a big part into our education system in Malaysia. Second of all, we have quality. Develop young Malaysians who are knowledgeable, think critically and creatively, have leadership competencies, strong ethics and spirituality, and a deep sense of national identity. Looking back to the video, Mr. Nazmi is practicing Gppp1092 learning method in his classroom. For example, most of his students haven't went to the market, so he brings market to the classroom. Most of the students have not yet have the experience to buy flight tickets, so he brings the experience of buying flight tickets in classroom. Last but not least, some of the students have not yet have the experience of baking, so he brings in the experience of baking in his classroom by having role play and much more fun activities. From his creativity of doing activities in his classes, we are able to see that his efforts of bringing out a fun experience for the students to gain knowledge is very, very meaningful. And from these experiences, the students are able to reach their highest potential and able to grow as a developed and advanced students in the future. Now, these are obviously could bring out the best potential in our education system in Malaysia. Third of all, we have equity. Bridge the gap that exists in education and provide the best education to every child, regardless of their gender and socio-economic background. Relating with the video that we have seen earlier, Mr. Nazmi is someone who is very consistent in keeping his responsibilities done. For example, he crosses rivers and forests just to deliver the 111 students' exam papers of SK Long Sukang so that the students are able to enjoy their study and are able to sit for their exam regardless any of their situation by that time. For example, when the students are in a pandemic situation, for sure, they will not have the motivation to study for their exam because they have not found motivation in themselves. Yet, they also don't have anyone to guide them in their study. And in this situation, we are able to know that Mr. Nazmi is someone who is very dedicated in making sure that his students are being consistent in their study, and he is there to help the students to reach their motivation and for them to achieve their study, to sit their exam well. This shows that his responsibility as a teacher in this situation could bring the biggest contribution in making sure that our education system in Malaysia could reach the highest potential regarding the education is done in the rural area or the urban areas. Next, we have Unity. Create a shared set of experiences and aspirations that form the foundation for Unity. Now, as we are talking about Unity, it is something that gathers us as a whole. So, when we are relating back with the video that we have looked just now, when Mr. Nazmi is going to the rural area to teach the students of his class, the parents are really supportive towards him by providing him meals, especially during the fast month. They provided him meals so that it is as a symbol of gratitude and appreciation for him, because he was there to teach his students, which is the children of the parents in the rural areas. So from this situation, we are having a win-win situation where the parents, they are showing gratitude for the educator, and the educator is doing his responsibility done, where at the same time the students are also able to get an education, a high quality education, even though they are lacked in many ways of conveniences. So from here, we are able to see that from the support of the parents to the educators and contributions from the educators to the parents and the children, these are something that is really warm-hearted, and this could unite all of the society in order for them to develop the education system in Malaysia as to bring out a better enhancement in the future. For the last one, we have efficiency. Further maximize student outcomes within the current budget levels. Now, as we are looking back to our video for today, we are able to see that Mr. Nazmi provides many creative ways for him to bring out fun experiences for his students to learn in his classroom. For example, he does role plays and many creative activities. So from these fun activities, children are able to develop their creativity. Children are able to develop their critical thinking, which could obviously develop themselves as a high potential student and individual. So, whenever that an educator, he or she, whenever they have something advanced that they have in them in terms of skills and knowledges or technology beside them, they are able to expose the student a great way for the students to experience a fun and meaningful learning experience. For example, Mr. Nazmi, he does a role play of baking in the classroom. So he provides differences materials for the students to learn about baking. For example, he does a role play of opening a bakery shop, opening a bakery workshop for the student to learn baking, to know about bakery. And every of these things, it actually helps the students to build their potential, for them to recognize their self-worth, their self-potential, and their potential of a student. And whenever they realize this potential that they have in themselves, they are able to grow maturely. And when they are able to grow maturely, they are able to reach further education in the future. So, when they are able to achieve further education in the future, they are for sure they can contribute many positive impacts towards our education system in Malaysia. Perhaps they are able to contribute many creative PAK21 in more advanced way in our future later on. So, as we are talking about all of this access, quality, equity, unity, and efficiency, we are able to tell that this 5 system aspiration has bring a lot of contribution in our education system in Malaysia. As far as we know, our education system in Malaysia is something that we cannot belittle on, because in a country, education is something that is very important for the citizens to involve in, for them to grow into a better individual. So when the citizens are educated, they have high potential. Now these potentials, they are able to bring out not only in their own country but at the international level, where they could help all of our society to grow up as a better person, as a better society, for all of us to live in peacefully and in an sustainable surrounding. So now let's move on to the conclusion. Now, in conclusion, we are able to know that education plays an important role in our life. Education brings out the most benefit for our individual and as a whole society. Thus, it is our role to make sure that every of us as a person are able to get education for us to live an educated life. Now, education contributes the most for us to develop as a human being and to our country. So, education plays the most important part in our life to make sure that we have a great life. That is all from me for today. Thank you.